first of all, like technical issues. Do you see my screen? Do you hear me well? That everything's fine.
Good.
Amazing. Mm-hmm. So yeah, my topic today is like unlocking potential, training resilient and skilled QA testers. I have to say that it's for whom this one is. If you have maybe juniors that are kind of looking up to you, or if you're mentoring someone, or maybe some of the things that we talked about, you will be able to use yourself. So we will talk about kind of the way we can build this resilience inside ourselves and also for the others. Let me share the agenda very quickly. Yeah, so we will quickly talk about what makes our work as software testers special, what are the essential skills we need, and how do we build resilience. And at the very end, there is a small section how we actually, this is very relevant kind of for me at the moment, and I will be happy to get any of your feedback. Maybe how do we train, like people from zero background to be the software testers? Because right now it's said that, yeah, okay, that's a great entry point for the industry. But is it actually possible, like to bring someone from like zero to hero, and how to do that in testing? Yeah, a little bit about me and why am I even concerned about software testing. So like I said, I attempted a startup at some point. And then when my startup failed, I joined another startup as a quality assurance engineer. And fun fact basically was that I was the only one for quality, and I spent there like more than 2 years and had to really build up the system from scratch. There were nothing. And also I, of course, also had to be concerned with, hiring new people and kind of training new software testers and quality assurance people. And that's how I came up to be still interested in the community. Even when I'm kind of retired myself from testing, I'm still mentoring software testers and future software testers, and very active in the community. So that's a little bit about myself. Like I said, we are starting from the challenges that we have as software testers. I have brought to you, I know that this is supposed to be like more like a presentation, but I really love when there is a little bit of a little bit of communication between us here. So I have brought for you a very, very small, not exercise, but like a question for you, like what, maybe one thing that you think makes software testers so special. What are our key challenges? What is the struggle that you have maybe in your daily routine? Something very quickly, if you could write it in a chat, would be very nice. I of course have things prepared, but still a little bit of time for you to write what your challenge, what your daily struggle is as a software tester. Maybe knowing the domain, that's one of the like pillar, like between our for any tester. That's especially, like, is anyone here working is medical domain? Because I think this is like the hardest. Maintaining tests. Yeah. Any of you have like some, more like emotional challenges, like edge cases? Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's automations. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so let me see if we have anyone else has any idea what would you say was your challenge every day, maybe, that you face? Yeah, I will slowly, you can still think of it. That's actually a good exercise for you as well. Yeah, stress is the point. That's a great exercise for you as well, maybe to kind of give yourself time to understand what's going on, what is your challenge. But at some point I have been doing the workshop, and we had more time. And at that point, I also asked the same question to the audience. And we came up actually with some ideas, and I brought them to you today, and you will notice that they are actually very similar to what we speak about. So at that time, and you as well already noticed, so there is automation, for example, which you also mentioned. There is learning problems with learning tools, prioritization challenges, right? Edge cases, maintaining general understanding. I would say this goes kind of to domain knowledge as well. So this were, and we noticed that we have kind of two types of challenges for the software tester. We've got functional challenges that most of you mentioned here, but we also have a lot of emotional things related to our work, because, and this I think sets testers a little bit apart from developers, because we have a bit different emotional tasks. So when we give feedback, we should communicate very clearly, and also so that even bad feedback needs to be given in a proper way. Sometimes our team might lack the understanding how important the testing is, right? And that also puts more pressure on you. You should communicate to developers then. And I had it in my experience very often when they would say, you know, it works, please don't touch it. And then I would have to go, and instead of really like doing my job, to spend time and energy on like saying, okay, guys, this is important. This is why we need testing, and this is why you have to listen to me. So there is kind of lack of positive motivation. That's I don't know, like we have here the also developers. Maybe you can say that I'm wrong, but I think developers, they sometimes get this positive motivation. You develop something, you get this, okay, feature is out, and then you get all the taps on the shoulders and all the kudos. And testers are kind of, I mean, we test everything, we check everything, we are not really always, you know, rewarded for it. I mean, rewarded in like emotional way. We have a lot of context switching, of course. There could be disagreement with the team, and there is always this pressure, like stress of responsibility, because sometimes companies like, okay, now you're responsible for the quality, which is not true, because everybody are responsible for the quality. But this is the thing we cope with. And what I noticed during my work and during like talking to my mentees and to my colleagues is that when we talk about functional challenges, you know, like you can adopt new tools, that will take time, you can learn. You can learn the domain, that's very sometimes very time consuming, but you still can learn it. Whereas like this emotional part is ignored sometimes. And I think that's why we have kind of two parts of this presentation. One is about skill, and another one is about resilience. So that how we deal with stress, how we you know, try to cheer up ourselves sometimes. With that in mind, I would move forward to the first part, which is about skills. And I think things I will talk about, you probably know it already, I'm pretty sure. So my message here is that I just put it in the kind of convenient way for you to maybe refresh it, and maybe you know it, but you forget to use it in your everyday life, or maybe you can bring it to your mentees or to your junior testers. That would be very helpful. So starting software testing journey is always overwhelming. You don't know where to start, and this is where all this domain knowledge, technical knowledge, automation, everything falls to you basically. This is the kind of learning curve that we would see, right? So there is always this hyper growth stage, and when you're here, it's super tense, right? And here, like, I try to formulate some rules, very, very, you know, kind of very short ways. So first of all, eternal student, I think that we never stop learning. And this is something we also need to keep in mind. Of course, if there are any opportunity for you or your mentees, your juniors, saying again, okay, if there are people who are like in junior position to you, you always also bring this to them, please. You can always get a certificate, you can always get an online course, you can deal with your functional knowledge quite relatively easily. You can ask for specific time for self-learning and so on. But I think that the best thing is still learn by doing. Never wait till you finish some course and do some certificates. That I have noticed that the junior testers and honestly the junior engineers as well, that people tend to okay, I will get that certificate and this will magically make my life so much better and I will be so much smarter. No, keep learning by doing, keep doing, and applying your knowledge that you get. Same goes like to domain knowledge. Now will be controversial thing. I'm gonna say controversial thing because like this jack of all trades is. I have received some of mixed feedback on this one. Still, I keep it in this presentation because like this jack of all trades, it's ends up like with master of none. There is like the continuous part of the saying, but this is not what I mean here. This is what we all noticed. Okay, domain knowledge and testers are. We've got our testing activities. We've got our testing domain. This is quite huge, to be honest. But it is always good to have a little bit of connection into other areas. What I mean by that is, maybe you could go a little bit into backlog management and you could see, okay, what's going on. At least, talk to your product team. Maybe you, of course, should go join requirement engineering, defect management. But things like maybe, even facilitation, Scrum events could also be interesting for you. So do not really try to do everything all at once, but if you have an opportunity and a little bit of time, I always say that this will help you, get your domain knowledge, get your knowledge about your company, about your product. You will learn it, you will know it better. That's something that, even though controversial, I think you can also have it in mind. And this is basically, I think the third part here is about the lesser evil. So you prioritize your work, but that's kind of, I say it, but I think we all sometimes forget to do it. So we all sometimes feel overwhelmed, and it is always a good point to think, okay, what is really my priority now, or what is the worst case scenario that can happen. So start small, don't try to do it all at once. And this is something that I really, was trying to push into when we were hiring junior testers. I would always try to, push this idea on them so that they do not try to do everything like in first week and, start everything. But let's see to the resilience. What is our, I think I'm good on time. What is our emotional challenge? This is my, how we build the resilience for ourselves and the others. This is my favorite picture of all times. How do we do that? We have our day-to-day routine. Sometimes we might feel down because of all the pressure that we already talked about. So I think communication is the key. I have to say it again. We are not living in silos, right? We should make communication as efficient as possible. That's one thing. And that's the other thing is that you probably want to also remind yourself and your mentees or your juniors or your colleagues around you, ask for help and advice. And what is not less important, provide help and advice if it's possible. So even if you think that something is actually quite easy and that your junior or your colleague could fulfill it on their own, they are probably kind of mentally stuck in this problem, and you still provide help and advice. That would be a huge help for them and also for you. So that maybe makes you understand what's going on better. The other problem is, I say it's stand your ground, but really we sometimes have problems with being like very assertive and really defending our ideas. because for me, when I started, it was such a challenge to stand against my team and say, I will not allow this to happen. You guys have problems on the code, and if you don't fix it, I'm not allowing it to pass through me, right? And I think this was the kind of emotionally lowest point for me, because and highest pressure, because I mean, like, you have to stand against your team, and that's very, very challenging. And we should remember about this kind of as well. So be proactive, be vocal, learn to overcome the resistance in a polite way, of course. And I always say, okay, help the others to find their voice. I still remember when we had a girl joining us for the testing, and in the beginning she was, a little bit shy, not always so sometimes she was, yeah, okay, that's probably nothing, this not so confident. And I kept like telling her, yeah, okay, if you think that this is a problem, say it, and with time, by the time she was maybe 3 months in or something, she was actually very proactive and very resilient. And she would not let anything slide, and that's very helpful, I think. If you can help your colleagues to find their voice as well, that's also kind of our duty. And yeah, power to the community. So I don't know how it's done in your companies, guys, but communities of practice are would be a great idea, where you can support your juniors, explore new areas of development, and so on. I have also brought exercises for you and your mentees. I think we can publish. Can we publish the presentations afterwards, or? I'm pretty sure we can. I have prepared 2 exercises that you can do yourself later, maybe to kind of self-reflect, or give it to your juniors or your mentees. So these 2 slides, I definitely want us to then publish afterwards. And yeah, let's slide into the most interesting. Not, I don't know if you are dealing with this kind of problem, but I had to bring it because that gives us a completely different perspective on software testing. So what about the people who are like in this part of the learning curve, or just in the very beginning, without like, there are so many boot camps right now that allow you to start like from scratch learning for software development or software testing. And this is, I think, that one of the most challenging areas, right? How do we train the total beginners? There is no previous experience, probably no technical background. This is how do we deal with that? And yeah, once again, I think we have a little bit of time. This is for you. Maybe you can quickly write to me if like you meet a total beginner, somebody who has never done any software development, software testing in life. How would you very shortly tell what the software testing is? I'm wondering. I would actually spend a minute on it. I'm wondering, how would you explain to the person, to the total beginner, what is software testing? Maybe very, very shortly, so that that person understands. If you have a good idea of it, or maybe you do not. There are not so many of us. You can even can write in chat, and I think you can even say it aloud if you want. Yeah. Okay, best effort to make sure things don't break later. I like this one, actually. That's already gives this idea that, okay, nothing is 100% secure. It's like best effort, and the things don't break. I think that's, yeah, check if it works, Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, this is good, and I think it gives an overview. Uh, yeah, as you expect by designing the product. Yeah. But then, like, you see, as in your definitions, you kind of go into like, okay, if it works as expected while designing the product, and all of this needs kind of even more further investigation, right, for someone who is not in. And I realized that there is no actually easy explanation to give to a person to give them an essence of what software testing is, which brought me to the idea that even though that everybody around is like software testing is such a good entry point to the industry. Oh my God, that's that which it is. But like I put this iceberg here because come on, that's like what you see that, yeah, that's probably a good point. But we cannot even explain it right now to a total beginner, right? And there are so many things going on underneath: domain knowledge, technical knowledge, this stress resilience, everything. I'm really struggling with my mentees and at work in university on how to teach those people. This is something I would come up with. Yeah, so we need to provide technical knowledge. We need to provide knowledge about how the workflow and software development works and processes work. We need overview what testing is. We need to learn relevant techniques and skills. But is it like really the best option? Honestly, for me, this one is still a big question. So is it the best strategy? What it brings me to is that, I think we, from our position, when we have been working with this, we kind of underestimate all of the things, that we are going through. Okay, but this is actually, this is a conclusion, and this is thank you and a happy testing, let's say, conclusion: support people, be mindful about emotional side of your job. Tell your colleagues that they're doing great, because we testers really need that somebody tells us that we're doing great. And help your colleagues be more assertive, right? And that's actually it. I think maybe it was a little bit over time. I'm sorry for that.
No. It's perfect. I think you finished exactly at 20 minutes. So thank you.
But if you have any questions, I hope it was at least somehow helpful. I also hope that we can share it afterwards, because these exercises, they're very nice for everyone, I think, to try.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Marina. I really enjoyed your talk. In the past, I've never actually thought about resilience and software testing in the same topic. So this was really a very interesting take. Do we have any questions from the audience?
There's some in the Slido.
Yeah. Do you want me to read it? The Slido? Sherry, can you check it?
Okay, wait, let me see. I have it open. Okay.
Yeah.
There are too many things to learn. What would be a good starting point? Well, it depends on where you start. If you start from total, like beginner, of course, you would need some technical background first, a little bit, at least, to know how, web applications work, at least. If you already have some technical background, then I think you should start with like really just easiest manual testing, and maybe actually I think exploratory testing is a good point to start, because it's exciting, it's interesting, and you learn a lot during that process. The other one is, since it's software testing is an entry point, do you think testers should target other roles? I mean, it depends. Like if you start as a tester, do some automation, and then you discover that you actually love doing programming, then you can go to this direction. Or maybe you want to be an actual product manager, and I have seen this happening, right, with people. So I think that's, you of course can, but I also have seen people being completely happy with their testing roles and proceeding with this. And the last one, techniques, arguments to invest. Oh yeah, techniques to invest. I always say this, like, you can try to perceive them, but they will probably not be they will be not giving money you like for nothing, right? And I think the best thing that can really help you, if there is some failure happens, it's probably not your fault, but that's a good time when something critical happened. That happened to me as well. We had a very, very critical situation. And after that, I was like, guys, this is because you have one software tester and I cannot do everything. After that, we immediately started hiring software testers. So wait till something goes like, not wait till something goes, but if something goes sideways, that's a good time to tell them, yeah, guys, this would not have happened if you invested some money in it or time. So that's your kind of, I mean, hopefully it's nothing too critical, but that's a good time to tackle this problem, I think. Yeah. Thank you. There are there were 3 questions and we are through with them.
Thank you.